welcome to the 850th meeting, Tuesday, June 21st.
This meeting is being recorded.
2022. Please note that if you wish to be heard at this meeting, please sign the speaker list provided on the City of Laurel website or contact staff. The chairman reserves the right to limit the amount of time each speaker has for each agenda item. The qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff of the commission, and any consultants used are on file with the city and are hereby made a part of each and every application heard today. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedence for any other application. Just a few reminders to identify yourself when speaking each time. This is imperative for the record. And also when you're done speaking, please use the mute button on your computer or phone. This will help eliminate background noise. If we experience a technical problem, the meeting will be suspended until the issue is resolved. If unable to resolve the issue in a timely manner, the meeting shall be postponed. Once the issue is corrected, I will call for another roll call and then we will resume the meeting. After staff presents the report, I will ask commissioners to request a motion. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Cocoon?
Here.
Councilmember Cole?
Present.
Ms. McSinney?
Here.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Here.
Ms. Frazier?
Here.
Mr. Davis? Mr. Schweitzer? You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Brooke. Okay, next agenda item is open discussion for the meetings from the regular HDC meeting held on May 17th, 2022. Is there any comments or corrections to those minutes? Seeing that there's no comment, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Ms. McSinney. I move we approve the minutes as presented for the May meeting.
This is Ms. Frazier. I second that motion.
Okay, Brooke, we have a motion by Ms. McSinney and a second by Ms. Frazier. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSinney?
Yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Councilmember Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
I recluse. I was not present for that meeting.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, for first agenda item is HTC 2022-0137 for 425 Prince George Street. Would the staff like to present a report to the commission?
Well, good evening, Mr. Chair. I'm Deputy Director Monte Burrows, and I just want to make a notation. I will be doing both the reading for Mr. Joshua Mitchell in his absence and for myself. The first item, again, good evening, Mr. Chair, fellow board member. I'll be reading for Mr. Joshua Mitchell, Planner 2, HDC 2022-0137, 425 Prince George Street. The applicant is seeking HDC approval to install a fence around the property. The proposed fence will be 3.5 feet in height and will be located in the rear of the property along the existing driveway. The proposed fence is a picket style in white color, comprised of vinyl material. Staff recommends the HDC approved certificate 2022-0137. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the applicant should be on the line for any questions.
Great, thank you, Monte. Seems pretty cut and dry, but are there any comments or questions for the applicant?
This is Ms. McSinney. I move we approve HDC 2022-0137 for 425 Prince George Street.
This is Ms. Lubinecki. I second that motion.
Okay, Brooke, we have a motion by Ms. McSinney and a second by Ms. Lubinecki. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
yes,
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
yes,
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
The next agenda item is HDC 2022-0143 for 916 Montgomery Street. Monte, would you like to present the report to the commission?
Yes, good evening again, Mr. Chair and fellow HDC members. This is Monte Burrow, Deputy Director. The applicant is seeking HDC retroactive approval to perform several exterior alterations to the property. The applicant received a stop work order. The applicant is removing and replacing the front walkway and installing an asphalt driveway. See attachment. The applicant is proposing to install a new concrete driveway on the right side of the property. The driveway will measure 40 feet by 20 feet, replacing the existing worn gravel driveway at the existing apron cut. Applicant is proposing also to replace existing stone walkway with a concrete walkway. The footprint of the new concrete walkway would be the same as the existing. Staff recommends the HDC approve certificate 0143-2022. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the applicant should be on the line for any questions.
Great. Thank you, Monte. First, I'd just like to state that you're in a historic district, and any changes, alterations, projects you do to the interior of your property, including the yard, needs to get HDC approval. Also, some of the projects that you do may qualify for a tax credit. If you don't get approval before, I think your tax credit drops in half. And I don't know if I'm correct in saying that, Monte.
I believe so, but I believe Brooke can answer that better than I.
Yes, that's correct. However, landscaping does not qualify. Paving does not qualify either.
Right. I was just stating for other projects that they may have in the future that
Right.
they may qualify for a tax credit. If
Correct.
forced
Correct.
to do. So that being said, is there any comments or questions from any of the commissioners?
well, this is Ms. Lubinecki, and looking at this project, which I know is already completed, which is unfortunate, shall we say. Looking at what the applicant has done, my thought would be we would have at the very least urged her to do concrete with strips on the side as opposed to solid asphalt, which is totally impermeable structure. So this is a really, I just want to point out to the applicant that we would not probably have approved, or we would have urged her to go in a different direction aesthetically and also environmentally.
Is the applicant on the line?
Yeah, she's on.
Yes, I am here.
Okay. Do you understand the comments we were stating about needing approval, and then also, what's acceptable and not acceptable in the historic area?
Yes, I do. I want to thank you all for this time and also for your time. And your corrections and statements and comments are well taken. I am representing Fannie Mae here as a real estate broker that has been managing the property, and we have done extensive rehab and renovation to make sure that it conforms to the city of Laurel, including putting new siding and the paint. We did obtain permits. When we called the contractor this time, what they did was they said because the asphalt driveway was already existing, that was what was existing in the place. Being a historic district, we needed to just do the same thing that was there before. So I do apologize from the bottom of my heart that, we went with the advice that since it was exact same thing, we didn't need a permit, but your advice is well taken. And I thank you. We have done a lot to preserve the property and also preserve the neighborhood, because Fannie Mae is keenly aware of preserving neighborhoods, and that's what we have really, really tried. So I apologize for anywhere that had been misstepped. We followed the guidance of the contractors because they said it was existing and they didn't need a permit. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, just if you have a question, just call the city. I think Brooke would be a good point of contact, but they can lead you in the right direction of whether it can be staff approved. There are certain things that can be staff approved that you're doing in kind, but they can tell you, what you need to get approval for or what you don't need to get approval for. And it's, they're really there to help you, the citizen and the resident of Laurel.
I greatly appreciate that comment, Mr. Chairman. And honestly, Miss Brooke, last name, has been extremely helpful in this property in the last, since 2019 that I've been managing it. I always call her, consult with her. And also some of your other staff that have come to do the property, they have been very helpful. And each time I have reacted and taken care of whatever was needed. So I thank you. I'll definitely make sure that moving forward, nothing else will go without first consulting the city again, irrespective. I greatly appreciate your times.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other comments or questions for the applicant or comments about the application?
Mr. Chairman, this is Councilmember Cole.
Yes, sir.
The picture that's on the screen, is that the house that had the property that had the work done? Because there is no existing asphalt driveway there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, when you come there, you will see there was one. It's completely broken up and messed up and overgrown. This was, I didn't know you would require much more picture. It was asphalt, sir, with all due respect.
was it just covered with dirt or?
Yes, dirt and grass, yes, sir.
It wasn't a gravel driveway.
No.
No, it was asphalt.
I don't know if Mike Sales is on the line. I had invited the contractor because they saw it. I had invited him, but it was kind of, he was committed. It was, just to witness what I said, if it's just the honest truth.
This is Miss Frazier. Was there a color change on the paint?
Yes, but there was permission also from the city. It was mirrored on what was there existing. So we submitted the color scheme when the siding was replaced, because the previous siding was completely rotted and damaged.
So you came to the commission before to have the siding and the paint approved?
No, it was submitted through your portal and through Brooke. Brooke who helped with that, maybe help with the, we did submit changes. Every change that was made was submitted to the city in terms of the siding and the color.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Oh, okay. So when did the paint job change? A few years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. Okay.
The picture is dated 2/25/21, which would be a year ago, and it's still a light blue and pink.
If it's 21 that you see there, I'm sorry, maybe, with the COVID and all that is kind of, if you look at the new photo that you showed the after work, I don't know if you can see it, you can see that we really enhanced the property to conform, and every approval was gotten for everything that was done here.
It looks like in 2020, it was the old color, the pink. And then in the video, in the picture dated September 2021, it was the blue and the white.
Yeah.
The color is today.
Yeah. If you don't mind, let me just comment on the dates. The dates have nothing to do with this meeting or when the work was done. It's just that Fannie Mae expects us as brokers to inspect the property weekly. So every week I go into the property, I have to take exterior and interior photos to send to Fannie Mae to show that the property was being maintained, because they're all about maintaining the neighborhoods. And we had a lot of problem with this problem, including flooding and all that, but all that has been addressed and taken care of. So we have really, really worked hard to maintain and preserve. So the dates, I just took random photo from my, you can imagine taking photos every week since 2019 to send to the owner, Fannie Mae. That's just the job that we do to manage the property. And we are just doing it as real estate brokers. It's not like we're employees. I'm just an independent real estate broker in the area that's been in the business for a while. And so with all due respect, the dates, if I'm not, matching the dates, I just took from my bunch of thousands of photos that we have sent. It is thousands of photos we've taken on this property each time, every
I was
week.
just noticing it's been that color since last September.
It's been in this color for over a year. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I was merely stating.
Okay, sir.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, I think I have a few more questions for staff. I would like to motion that we postpone this agenda item and table it until our next meeting in July.
Okay. Second to table.
I'll second the table. Mr. Cole, could you give us just a little hint of why you'd like this to be tabled?
I still have some additional questions on permitting outside of the HDC. If they were getting the appropriate permits, as their contractor should have known, I want to know how this wasn't brought to us before. Looking at pictures from last September on Google Earth, there is no driveway there. There's a curb cut with a 2-foot section of asphalt, but there is no other driveway.
If I could add, I don't remember the exact date. Code enforcement had come to us and let us know that work was being done at this house, which resulted in this application. So they did not get permits to do the work.
Was there any other enforcement done then for not having permits?
I believe on their side, what they do is do a stop work order. They came to me to apply for HDC, and that's where it's held up. They're not supposed to get any permits until they get HDC approval.
Right, but they've already done all the work, right?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. Is there any other work that you're planning to do for this property that you know of or foresee in the future?
No, we've done all the work. We are hoping and believing and praying that this you guys will give your consideration so we can put it on the market for sale. It's ready to go on the market for sale, and it's been vacant for a long time, and it would be wonderful if a family could occupy it.
Okay, so part of the problem that we're having in the city is, for lack of a better term, flippers come in and they do a bunch of work that makes the house look more sellable or more presentable for sale. And then they're gone. And, there's no commitment to the community. They don't have the thought and fortitude to spend the time and the money to spend on some of these historic houses. And, we're really trying to clamp down on that in the historic district. I understand your point of view. You're trying to make a profit off of the sale of the house, but you have to understand, when you come into the city of Laurel just like any other city that has a historic district, you have to abide by the rules and the regulations. So there's certain things. One, we try to discourage just a mass amount of asphalt. We encourage having ribbons for driveways, where you have the 2 strips of concrete instead of the mass amount of
Impermeable.
yeah, I'm sorry. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I apologize. My
No,
screen.
no, I greatly appreciate what you're saying, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Like I said, you're absolutely correct. I will just tell you that I personally, I'm a real estate broker, I'm also a chaplain, I'm also a credential chaplain, and I do care about the neighborhoods. And I really pushed hard for Fannie Mae, who is the owner, to improve this property to look better for the next family. It's important to me, and like you said, to everyone, not just making a profit. While I'm not required to quote numbers, I can tell you that the owner, Fannie Mae, has spent over maybe close to 100,000 or less or close to it to improve this property. It was really not in the best of shape. So it wasn't good for the city of Laurel, and they have done a lot of work. And I say this I would say that just from what I know on this side of it, Fannie Mae has not come into this property, especially for the profit. I'm not saying they're not going to make a profit. I'm just saying what I know, just working for in this kind of business. And as a real estate broker, I'm not paid for pushing to have it rehabbed. I'm only paid when I sell it, and I'm paid my commission. So I want to tell you that I appreciate what City of Laurel does. I tell you, your guys are very efficient and they don't give you any slack. For example, we didn't realize we forgot to put the number back, the house number. And the next week when I came for inspection, and the neighbors will tell you, when I come, I'm hello with every neighbor and making sure everything is looking good and no squatters and nobody is breaking into the neighborhood. The next week, I had to rush within a few days to put the number. So your inspectors are doing a great job for City of Laurel. Believe it or not, I told my daughter, if you want to buy a house, City of Laurel is a good place because they don't mess around with the neighborhood. So thank you all for what you do. And I say it sincerely, I'm not trying to impress you with it, it's the truth.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a comment. I am somewhat familiar with this house, but when it was first, I don't know, I guess maybe it's a foreclosure.
Yes, ma'am.
Is what happened with that. And when it was open originally for sale, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, I did walk through or try to walk through the property. And I have to tell you, there was like water in the basement, like up to it was a disaster. So having improvements on this is actually going to be, even though I disagree with how you did the driveway, that an improvement on this house is a definite improvement. And if they've had I'm not surprised if they've had to put that kind of money in it.
Thank you.
This is Ms. McSaney. I would like to make a motion that we approve HDC 2022-0143 with the provision that we remind the realtor that she needs to disclose to the buyer that the house is in a historic district and it needs to any improvements, changes, work, needs to come to the HDC in the future, please.
Do I have a second to that, Ms. McSaney's motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, Brooke, we have a motion by Ms. McSaney and a second by Ms. Lubinecki to give retroactive approval to HDC 2022-0143. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Well, good luck with your sale of your property. Find a good
God bless you all. God bless you. I
find a
really
good
appreciate it.
family for it.
God bless you. I will tell Fannie Mae what you guys did too. Thank you.
All right, moving on to HTC 2022-0142 for 319 Laurel Avenue. Monta, would you give us the honors of presenting the report to the staff commission?
Yes, good evening again, Mr. Chair and fellow HDC members. I will be reading for Mr. Joshua Mitchell, Planner 2. The applicant is seeking Historic District Commission approval to install a arbor structure over the front walkway. The proposed arbor structure is a New England Florence style in white color that measures 24 by 49 by 89.6 inches. The applicant is proposing to place the arbor structure in the front yard over the section of the walkway that leads to the front porch of the house. Staff recommends the HDC approve certificate 2022-0142. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the applicant should be on the line for any questions.
Thank you, Monta. Is there any comments or questions about this application?
I have a question for staff. So landscape structures such as a trellis like this are required for HDC approval?
Correct. Yes, it is.
No further questions. I motion that we approve the application.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion. This is Ms. Frazier.
Okay. All right, I have a motion by Councilman Cole and a second by Mrs. Frazier to approve HDC 2022-0142. Would you please call the roll, bro?
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Ms. McStaney,
Yes.
Ms. Lubnecki,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, agenda item HDC 2022-0141 for 406 Laurel Avenue. Monte, would you please present the report to the commission?
Good evening again, Mr. Chair and fellow HDC members. This is Monte Burrow, Deputy Director. The applicant is seeking HDC approval to remove an existing tree and repaint existing front porch stairs. The applicant has proposed to remove a tree located in the rear of the property. The tree being removed is a pawpaw tree, and you can see the attachment. The tree is in a healthy state. The applicant is willing to remove and replace the tree. The applicant proposes to paint existing front porch stairs from a light blue to a bare ultra pure white. Staff recommends the HDC approve certificate 0141-2022. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the applicant is on the line for any questions.
Thank you, Monte. Any comments or questions about this application?
This is Ms. Lubnecki, and it's really a question for the applicant. Is he aware that the pawpaw trees actually are a fruit-bearing tree that is edible fruit, and it's considered kind of the native, it's related actually to the mango and has kind of a banana flavor. Have you had the opportunity?
Hi, hopefully you can you hear me?
Yes.
Thanks for talking with me. I have tried the fruit once. And I'm not like, I wouldn't mind having like a fruit itself, but the fruit drops all the time and it rots on the ground. So I'm constantly picking it up and losing my appetite to even try it. But then it also attracts a lot of bugs, and I also can't spray for mosquitoes because of the fruit tree there. So that's the main reason that we'd like to get rid of it. I don't mind having the tree there. In fact, I'd probably like to replace it with something in that almost that exact spot, but just not a big fan of the fruit that's dropped and the attraction of bugs, things like that.
Well, with all due respect, the pawpaw drops, I happen to have a property that has dozens of pawpaw trees on it, so I'm really familiar with pawpaw trees.
Oh, you do? Okay. I'm sorry.
I really am. So my question is actually only drops fruit in about over a 2-week period in September, which I know of. You have to get them the minute they drop if you want to eat them. You can't eat anything but the skin, and you have to clear them very well. And they actually have very pretty flowers in the spring. I don't know if you've realized it, that they have really lovely brown flowers in the spring. So they're not quite the level of nuisance. I mean, really, I'm very familiar with pawpaw trees. I think it's unfortunate that people are trying now to propagate those and cultivate them, actually, because they're considered a delicacy. You just have to clean them properly. You have to open them up and scoop out the fruit that's in there and take out the seed. But they are actually, I mean, it is actually not quite, it doesn't drop fruit all the time. No offense, but it doesn't. And the flowers are actually quite lovely.
Yeah, I'll try. I don't try to like picture the flowers, but I haven't. Maybe I just missed those. But yeah, I think it's at least with that tree. I don't know about you. Obviously have more. I think it. It seems mostly in the August to September. I'm picking up a bunch of fruit. Seems like. But.
Is that your only reason because you can't spray for mosquitoes and then the fruit dropping?
Yeah, I usually
it's not impinging on your fence. It's hard to tell from that photo how close it is to the fence.
No, it's not impinging on the fence. The fence was installed not too long ago, and it's far enough away where it's not doing anything to the fence.
Okay.
This is Miss McSceney. I can appreciate not wanting to have fruit dropping, but 2 weeks is a fairly short period of time, and I am not a fan of spraying for mosquitoes. So I'm wondering if you would be willing to plant a couple of trees if you remove this one.
Yeah, possibly, because I would look to replace a tree where it is there, and then we have I'm not sure what kind of tree it is in the front, but we have another space to the side that could be a good spot for a tree in the front, and then maybe something to the side too. I guess if that's a consolation, I'd be willing to do that.
Thank you. All right, then, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve HDC 2022-0141 to remove the existing pawpaw tree and replace it with at least 2 other trees. And the painting of the steps.
I will second that motion.
Okay, Brooke, I have a motion from Miss McSceney and a second by Councilman Cole that we approve HDC 2022-0141. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSceney?
Yes.
Councilmember Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Reluctantly, yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Good luck with your tree removal and planting.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, next agenda item is HDC 2022-0148 for 407 Laurel Avenue. Monte, would you like to present the report to the commission?
Good evening again, Mr. Chair and fellow HDC members. I will be reading for Mr. Joshua Mitchell, Planner 2. The applicant is seeking HDC approval to install a driveway in the front yard of the property and a parking pad in the rear yard of the property. The front yard driveway, the applicant is proposing to install a 10-foot by 20-foot asphalt driveway in the front. The rear, the applicant is proposing to install a 24 by 30-foot asphalt parking pad. The parking pad is intended to be accessible from the public gravel alleyway located on the east side of the property. Staff recommends that HDC approve certificate 2022-0148. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the applicant is on the line for any questions.
Thank you, Monta. I guess I have a question for staff. Has the work already begun?
No,
Mr.
not that I'm aware of.
We can say no on our end.
Okay. I'm just, what are these photos that we're looking at? Where it's got,
Those are examples from other, just Google, just to show, the parking pad examples to illustrate,
That's not our property.
but that's not us, yeah.
okay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this is for the applicants. You currently have 2 concrete strips in the front. Is that correct?
Yes, but this picture is older. This is from 2012. I think we did have some more recent pictures. There's a fence now that runs between our properties in the other house next door that actually follows the property line, but nicks off the corner of the driveway strips, which have deteriorated significantly in the 10 years since that picture was taken. So we want to extend that.
Jump in. But if you look at that picture, it was actually 3 concrete strips there where the middle one is sort of shared between the 2 driveways. So at this point, we only have one of those concrete strips is actually in the driveway area, and the other one is on the fence line between the properties.
This is Miss Frazier. So you would be removing the concrete strips?
They've mostly done that on their own for us, but we would be removing them. And yes, really, we were looking at what you all did up at the library or different things like that. But the company that was going to put in the basketball court in the back for our kids said that they would do the front as well. And we need that because it's sunken into the ground. And again, we just don't have room to pull in a car at this point.
I guess the question we have is, why can you not replace concrete strips in the front, even if you're putting asphalt in the back for your basketball court? Because right now you have essentially what is much more desirable in the historic district. So I guess I'm just a little puzzled. If you could expand a little bit.
So the company that's doing the parking pad in back has offered to basically include the front pad. I don't know if they can do strips of asphalt per se, or if they even offer concrete, but the idea is that we got this an affordable deal through that option. We did look into pavers. It was almost 3 times as expensive. So that's the main reason. At this point, we're like parking on the grass.
And
basically.
the driveways really this area has gotten much lower over time. It just has to be built up again. It's not, there's water all in front of our house all the time.
So
we've planted trees around the perimeter to absorb that part, but need somewhere for the car.
But if you put asphalt, this is Ms. Lubinek again, if you have a drainage problem already, putting solid asphalt in is actually going to exacerbate that problem, not mitigate it.
Well, if it tips it toward our grass and the street both, then it would be.
Currently it's sunken, so the water stands in the concrete with the grass around it is higher, so it becomes little troughs of water. So what we're seeking is to have a level elevated, and like Ben's saying, where it's sort of adjusted so that the water will run off, so we're not getting out of the car into water whenever there's a rain. And then it'll either absorb into the grass or run into the drainage.
But I definitely raised a couple alternatives with this company, but they do this, you know, and we're really mostly interested in I was principally interested in the basketball court for our kids in the back, and we just have to
We
have to
need
get
some
something
solution up
there.
front, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, could we persuade you to postpone the solution up front and get your basketball court? Because
It's
we have to do it. They'll do it all at once,
they-
basically. Otherwise, it doesn't give us the benefit. We could ask them if they will.
I did.
Yeah.
They don't. They're a asphalt blacktop company, so they do this sort of. This is the sort of work that they do. It's definitely become, you know, I mean, like, it really doesn't look anything like that. And again, that's not even the proper number of concrete strips for up there. But it's, you know, it's not functional, and it doesn't look good right now, you know. So we have to address it, you know, and it's something where we've been lightly infringed on by our neighbors here. So we're, you know,
This is Chairman Clacoon. I'm looking at it and I see in the curb, there's a single cut for both driveways for both properties. What is the plan for your neighbor? Do you know? I mean,
There should be some pictures that we sent of the, and I can see if I can find those.
they extended theirs a little bit over, and just made it, made it a little wider. And we would also just sort of need to come toward the flower beds, which are not pictured in that one, but might be in this one. Allison's about to pop up here.
Yeah, I just need to download these pictures.
They still have the concrete strips on theirs?
No, they've
put gravel
redone it.
down.
They also put in a fence in front, which is right up on the street. So it looks completely different from what you're
Yeah,
seeing
I'll see
there.
if I can get a picture here for you. We have
Here,
some. I don't know if you happen to have those on hand.
Will the curb cut still line up with the driveway?
Yeah, it's wide enough that it will. Sorry, this is just taking me a second here, but there's that.
This is Miss McSaney. There aren't any other, there's only one other maybe blacktop asphalt driveway in that block. Is that correct?
In
You
this
found a
block,
couple.
like there's some in the vicinity for sure, and we could track those down for if you need.
Well, no,
Anything
it's
that-
just, I'm just saying that, you know, we really frown on blacktop. You know, it's not friendly to the environment. It is
For
doesn't
sure.
go with the
Totally. And
look
we
of the neighborhood. You know, it's not historic in any way.
So if I can share my screen, I can show you how we've moved our driveway over to and we definitely, and we looked at the the rain check rebate program, and that offers up to $2,400, but a paver would be about a $7,000 solution. So it really gets,
And it's just not quite a solution for this spot. It doesn't seem like. We're in a very low-lying part of the historic district here. We were probably the farm pond, about 100 years ago. So
were we muted? I'm sorry.
but we're certainly aware of the water retention problems with asphalt, and we've planted dozens and dozens of trees since we've moved in, literally dozens of trees.
Is there
because we have huge water issues here. So we've got birch, we've got pussy willow, and other specific
bald cypress.
water sucking trees to try to, address exactly that issue.
So I do have an image here that shows the driveway in its current
There's no
state.
screen share.
But yeah, if there's a way to, that was part of our application. If there's a-
Allison, how do I allow you to share your screen? I normally don't do that.
Sure, no, I totally understand. But I unfortunately don't have an answer.
We would have to make her a presenter.
Oh,
I
okay.
could email it to you, Brooke, too, if that's faster eventually. Okay. So let me see here. So here you can see this is we've sort of driven on the road, on the driveway here, the grass to kind of move it over.
Well,
So
this
there's
is also, I've put gravel here to just try to raise it up from when the neighbors across the way had their driveway. When they sold, I just went over there and got a couple wheelbarrows of gravel. So that's just a personal fix to try to again
just raise it up a little.
Yeah, just get it so that it was even quasi-functional.
And then here's another view from the front, from the house view, looking out. So you can see the fence kind of runs right along there, and you can kind of see the gravel next door. So this is the area, and there is enough space with the apron where you'd be able to get in to make a driveway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was supposed to be an offset for fences off property lines.
There was. I mean, it's just there are some things that that they've done that have been
Not our ideal.
Yeah.
It is very much on the exact property line though, that we haven't been involved in that conversation.
Huh.
But we have to be able to use our driveway, of course. So no matter what, we have to slide it over 1.5 feet.
So what does the 20-foot, does that even make it to your front porch?
It not quite. There's a concrete, I don't know if you call it a berm, maybe, but right here on the edge of the covered porch, on the left, there's just a little support structure. So the 20 feet would go into about there, and then the 10 feet would be here.
So it's actually, it's going to be a little wider than what it is now, and then maybe not go back as far as it did with the strips.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you talked to a concrete, this is Ms. Lubinecki, sorry. Have you talked to a different contractor to see what it would cost just to do a couple of concrete strips up to since it's only going up to the berm area, it seems a shame to put solid asphalt just for that area, because it's not that huge an area.
Right.
We did, but these folks, when they came out, they gave us, and that's part of the reason we were also glad to get on this review, is because they gave us a sort of time-bound offer. So we really felt like that was our best option.
Allison got a quote, from someone else for sure, and it was just way too high.
Right.
And the asphalt in the front, is that going to go right up to the neighbor's picket fence?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there going to be a strip of grass or anything between them?
No. If you guys would, whatever makes you all more comfortable is fine with us.
Yeah,
we just want a place to pull in a car. It doesn't have to be quite 20 feet, it can be 9 feet, but we just need to adjust.
I don't see where you would have the space to do that.
Well, if you go
we'll
back
just
out
be
here,
moving over into the yard.
The other picture is
Sure.
Here we go again, sorry. But here, where you can continue to go off to the right of the rear of that car.
Mm-hmm.
Just again, 1 foot or whatever is, gonna.
And you can sort of see the in this other picture, this on the bottom left-hand corner, it's raised about 3 inches, 2.5 inches off the ground. It sort of slopes up So kind of anywhere up to that level would still sort of aesthetically align with the driveway part of the yard. And would give us enough space to open the doors without hitting their fence and everything.
Okay.
Ms. McSeany, I believe you asked earlier if there were any other asphalt driveways on that block.
Yes.
There is one.
There is at 417 Laurel Avenue. It
Yeah.
goes to the Armory.
And
And the Armory's asphalt too.
Yeah. And
Yes, this is Miss McSeany, but, the city does not come to the HDC for approval for things. And their driveway's not on Laurel Avenue. But yeah, I had pulled up Google Earth to take a look. Thank you.
we were just doing that as well.
Any other questions for the applicant?
This is Miss McSeany. As much as I dislike an asphalt driveway, I feel sorry for you with the fence situation and understand, wanting to get your basketball court in. So I move we approve HDC 2022-0148 for your asphalt driveway in the front and the back. And yeah.
We'll keep planting stuff to,
honestly,
counter it
we're
out.
really trying to address the water issue.
yeah, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Mr.
second it.
Okay.
Mr. Schweitzer, second.
Okay, Brooke. I have a motion from Ms. McSeany and a second by Mr. Schweitzer to approve HDC 2022-0148 for 407 Laurel Avenue. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSeany,
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer,
Yes.
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Have a
But
good
feel
evening.
free to reconsider.
We will.
Appreciate
We'll
that.
rip it up in a few years when we're rich and put in something nice.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Have a good evening.
You as well.
Okay, the next agenda item would be staff approvals. Is there any comments or questions? I think we've all seen them at least once. Seeing that there's no questions or comments, move to adjourn.
I do have a comment unrelated to staff approvals. This is Miss McSeany.
Go ahead, Ms. McSeany.
I just wanted to mention that over the weekend, I went to an open house. There's a home for sale in the 400 block of Prince George Street. I think it's 405. But I chatted with the real estate agent and we discussed the house being in the historic district and explained to her what that meant and reminded her that she needed to disclose that to the purchaser. So
Did
that
I'm sorry, did she understand that before you explained it to her, or was that all new information to her?
she knew it was in the historic district. She really wasn't sure exactly what it meant. She said, well, as long as you leave everything exactly the same, everything's good. And I said, well, not exactly. And, so, she seemed appreciative. So that was positive.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the struggle we have in the in the historic district is just communicating that to the new people and the people that have been here for a while, that when they go to do something, that they need to come before the commission, they need to get approval, at least if they're doing it in kind, to get staff approval. You know, I think we're pretty lenient, you know, to work with the applicants with their desires and all. So
I think I
keep working.
saw a stop work order on a house in the 300 block of Montgomery Street. And I had gone down there with information to give to them so that they wouldn't have a problem and get a stop work order, but apparently it didn't sink in.
Did you talk to the?
I talked to the people that were working on it. So I don't know if that got through to whoever owned it or whatever.
Marlene, was this the house that has had the dumpster?
Yes.
So I believe back maybe a year ago, whenever I saw something being done, you know, I asked Brooke to send them a letter, and, you know, she said she would. So I, you know, believe it was sent to the new owner. So it's not, yours was not the first contact that was made.
There's a house at the corner of 7th and Montgomery too that seems to have a lot of work going on.
Oh, Mr. Dull's house.
Yes.
That beautiful house, potentially beautiful house. Yeah, I reported the roof. They got a new roof this weekend, and I reported that on the My Laurel app.
Good, good.
But I'm sure the roof is replaced by now, because it only takes, you know, a day to replace a roof.
Excuse me, and I want to apologize for being late, Rob. Can we fill out applications online to have work done? Or do you have to stop in?
No, you can apply online.
Okay.
So
For
that
like any kind work. Yeah. Okay.
This is Miss McSeany. I'd like to move that we adjourn.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Happy summer.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.